This episode was just as I suspected. Although it did pick up a little speed at the end, there were no cliffhangers, and we didn't leave the episode with nothing that we didn't already know, except Victoria poisoning Hunter and Dale's parents being killed by his pimp. Now, let's get into this recap of Tyler Perry's The Oval, episode number 18, titled Adjust and Adapt. The episode opened with Eli and Max. Of course, Eli is very worried about what may be showing on that tape, but Max assured him that there's nothing strange on the footage, so he saved Bobby yet again. And for some reason, he's very trusting of Bobby and Max by default. I mean, like, who else is he going to trust, right? He told Max that he and Bobby are the only ones allowed to sweep the Oval each morning for bugs, mics, and booby traps. Donald is still eager to get down to the bunker from the last episode, itching to talk to Victoria and try to clear his name with Hunter. Since Kyle isn't there, he pretty much has to rely on Alan to go and check for things, right? Check things out to see who's on detail downstairs so he can bully his way inside that bunker. So as Alan is checking things out for Donald, Dale is still over at his place, right? So he called him, shaking in his boots, scared, because Kyle just left and warned him that, Kyle is doing the most to sleep with Dale, ain't he? Like, it's a bit over the top and a bit much, but Dale has to tell Alan what's going on about his pimp. I don't know. I guess he feels that he has to tell Alan, like, he should know just in case the pimp finds out where he is. So he's got to put Alan on alert. Dale finna get put out. Like, he ain't got nowhere else to stay. Again, he's hustling backwards because if you have a pimp and getting money to make ends meet, you should be straight right for a while. And y'all just wait till the end or near the end of this recap. The pimp sounds like a whole 12-year-old. I don't know if this is meant to be a joke or if this is supposed to be a serious storyline, but it's just not doing it for me. But nonetheless, Dale is going to tell Alan about what's going on as soon as he gets home. So Dumb and Dumber is in the bunker freaking out because they think they killed the Wicked Witch of the White House. Victoria is over there bleeding from her head, and these geniuses thought it would be a good idea to move her body and pull her towards them. Why? We know that you own a pharmacy, Kareem, but you're not a medic, sir. You are never to move a person's body in that manner when they're suffering a head injury, especially when they're bleeding, right? They see that she's not breathing, and then they go further into panic mode when Donald walks in. And upstairs, okay, Hunter and his new chief of staff can see everything. They have a camera feed running from the bunker to a monitor where Hunter can see everything going on, right? And he saw Kareem and Antonio scuffle with Victoria, and he loved it. He likes those boys. Those boys. I tell you, every time Hunter opens his mouth, all the stupid just oozes out, don't it? And his buddy thinks that they should at least go and see Victoria, go down there to make sure that she's okay. So in the meantime, Donald did finally get in there, and he saw Victoria face down over in front of the toilet and wanted to know what happened. Now, at this point, they know it's lights out for both of them because it's doubtful and unsure of their fate. And he don't know what to think. But Kareem, he already know what time it is. Then we move on to Richard. Richard still doesn't want to talk to Nancy at all, no matter what she wants to talk about. So apparently she understands that if it's something really serious, that she's to talk to the mediator, Sam. She's to go and tell Sam everything if it's really serious, right? And Priscilla wants to play Hunter's game. So they're in the kitchen chopping up like they usually do. And I don't know, he's added some more pieces to the puzzle. He wants to reveal all that he knows to Priscilla so that she will in turn reveal all that she knows, and then they'll compare notes and take down the administration that he was once leading. He even told Priscilla that he will be willing to go on tape to satisfy this little deal that they're making. Of course, this is Hunter's trap. Like, this is never going to happen. That tape will never see the light of day. But he really does need her help with taming Victoria and spilling all of that Sam tea, right? We're going to have to get into that conversation in a separate video. So we move on to Victoria, the White House doctor, and Donald. And of course, Donald don't believe that Victoria is knocked out cold for 1 second. So he whispers in her ear, wakes her up, and we find out that Victoria is she's putting drugs in Hunter's food to manipulate his lower spine. Now, this is why Hunter is hobbling around on that walker and scooting from room to room, because the meds that she's using in his foods keeps him from walking. And for some reason, Victoria is giving me elder mother teas. And if you know who Elder Mother is, drop me a note in the comments. And for some reason, Victoria wants Donald to believe that she came up with this magnificent plan to get out of the bunker. But we saw and heard and believed that it was Kareem and Cuz's idea, right? But she led Donald to think that she came up with this plan as well. I don't know what this is going to benefit her in the end, but she wants him to think that it's all her idea. So she has to now find a way to get some more poison into Hunter's veins before the clock strikes midnight, because the last dosage is about to wear off. So they decide to put Kyle on the case and see if he can, find a way to get in there to get him his next dosage. Nancy called Sam and told him that Barry called her. Now, one of the things that she told Sam is that it didn't sound like Barry on the phone, but yet you're in the car riding at dark 30 by yourself with a pocketbook full of cash. Okay, Nancy. And of course Sam is concerned, right? So he just told Nancy to go home, let him take care of it. He has the same concern as we do, but Nancy won't listen. She refuses to have it any other way. And I get it, she's very eager. She hasn't talked to her son in months, and she believes that he's deceased. So I'm sure she's a little anxious, and she wants to take care of things on her own. So she's going to do anything. I mean, she's not really in her right mind right now. So I can sympathize with her on that point. But be safe, don't make rash decisions that's going to put you in harm's way. But that's exactly what she did. So next we have Simone, Bobby, Desiree, and Kyle all huddled up together. And this is Simone's team. So Bobby said, since you trust these two, you might as well go ahead and tell them everything, which kind of forced her to let them know about Eli and Victoria's affair. And I think Bobby was testing them at this point. He noticed the shock on their faces, and apparently they've all known each other for a little while, right? So they decided to work off the clock to get Hunter out of office, which is now Eli. So I'm not really sure how this is all gonna work at this point. Now we're gonna move back to Dale and Kyle and his shenanigans. Now, here's where things get really interesting. And I don't see this storyline going any further than what it already has. You guys remember I've said in a few of my Oval videos that Dale doesn't even know that his parents are dead. Well, now he knows, thanks to resourceful as Kyle. First of all, Kyle called Dale, right, and forced him to listen to a conversation that he was having with Dale's ex-pimp. Turns out Dale is a runaway. He ran away from the harem, and Dale was one of the best bottom witches with a B who made lots of money. So when Dale left, the money went with him. So now the pimp is all upset, and he wants to kill Dale, and he wants to kill Kyle, this whole 12-year-old. Now, I don't know if he's 12 years old or not. He sounds like it, right? He sounded fake angry. I don't know if you guys remember the episode when Martin was supposed to face this ex-con who he helped get arrested or something, and it turned out to be Gary Coleman. Like, he was this little guy. And this is what this reminded me of. Like, he's on the phone sounding very young, very non-threatening, right? But he wants to kill people. Not convincing at all. So now Dale is scared because his pimp is really looking for him. And in their efforts to find Dale, they ran across his parents and killed them in the process as a warning to Dale. Wrong. Very wrong. But we're going to talk about that later as well. But for now, he believes that the pictures that Kyle showed him of his parents no longer on Earth was done at the hands of this ex-pimp. And what's the purpose of all of this? All Kyle wants Dale to do is go home with him, right? And sleep with him, be there when he gets off work. I don't know. But all of this blackmailing, over a 3-minute thrill, like, it's not really worth what the prize is, right? I mean, it's just over the top, and he pretends to care about Dale, but you're threatening him. He's forcing him into a relationship, and I don't know, it's just not cool. It's just, I don't know, this whole storyline is a bit uneasy to me. And we see that Sam is very serious and on a mission to give Jason his own press conference of sorts. And even though it's only going to be him and the journalist there, apparently she's someone that he can trust, and she'll be covering the announcement. And not only is Jason the first son alive, but he's got secrets and he's ready to spill them all. So that's going to be interesting. And in our final scene, we see Nancy still trying to get into this building to see where Barry is. And she walked inside and she took a quick look around and she gave a quick gasp. that was it. I mean, we saw that in the trailer. So there was really nothing left there to that ending that we haven't already seen. And like I said before, this episode was very middle of the road. There was nothing really, jaw-dropping, exciting that happened. But I'm sure we're going to get to those episodes as well. But we have to, fill in the blanks and connect the dots first. And that's what we're doing. I think that this episode definitely did that. So if that was the goal, then it was reached. What I liked about this episode is Sam's success in getting to the truth. He's making every effort. He's keeping things under wraps. Nobody really knows about what he's doing or how he's doing it, but with the exception of maybe Richard or somebody. But he's really making moves on his own, and it's moving along. So I can really appreciate that in the storyline. The worst part about this episode was probably the scene with Dale and Kyle and the 12-year-old pimp on the other end. Like I said, I don't know if this storyline is supposed to be a joke or if it's something serious, but all I know is that Dale's parents died at the hands of someone else, and we'll talk about that later. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Ruthless TV. Be good to yourself and make sure you're good to someone else as well. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. And if you're a fan of Tyler Perry's The Oval, like I am, go ahead and sub to the channel for more videos just like this one. Thanks again for joining me today, you guys, and I'm going to see you in the next one.